Hey guys, Randy here, and this is going to be my first post on my adventure in weight loss using the Wegovy weight loss shot. This is just kind of documentation so that maybe somebody else can benefit from this as well if they're on the fence. I Just to give you a little backstory, I had weight loss surgery in 2012. I had gotten up to 385, 390 pounds. It was affecting my ability to do my job, get out and do stuff. Gave me it intensified my sleep apnea, and so I was always tired and groggy and just scarfing down caffeine tablets 5, 6, 7 times a day, just enough to make it to work and get back to the house and lay back down. And anyway, I realized my weight was starting to affect my ability to do my job and didn't know how much longer I could live that way. So in December of 20, oh, 2012. I was about to say 2020. Man, it's been so long ago, I kind of forgot. So I had weight loss, the gastric sleeve weight loss surgery, which is the type of surgery where they don't reroute your intestines. They just trim off the stretchy part of your stomach and make it shaped like a banana and about the size of a banana, from what I can understand. Anyway, fast forward 18 months later, it was successful. I lost 180 pounds and was keeping it off pretty easily. I was doing stuff like jogging every day, just monitoring my food intake, and just in general, I was feeling a whole lot better. I got down from 380 something to I think my lowest was 208, and I plateaued right there and just couldn't lose any more at the 18-month mark because my stomach had completely healed and I was able to eat regular foods to a certain extent. I had still had problems eating chicken. That was the hardest of all the foods to eat. It's harder for your stomach to digest it. Anyway, fast forward to 2025. Oh, actually, let me skip back to around 2014 when I regained the weight. 2015, something like that. Once I got down to 208, I felt good enough to start getting back on the dating scene. Met a nice lady. I thought she was a nice lady. We dated for about a year. It turned out she had control issues, and basically she wanted to run the whole relationship with no power sharing or no give and take. It was all her way or the highway. So I said, "Gotta be the highway then. I can't be completely subservient to someone on every decision forever." Anyway, I had a not a mental meltdown, but I felt really terrible about the breakup because I initiated it, and that was my first real relationship, and I felt like a horrible person for breaking up with her. And so I guess to protect myself from having to get out there and be vulnerable again, I started eating. And it wasn't that I ate a whole lot at one time because I still couldn't hold a whole lot, but I could eat every few hours and eat a little bit and eat a little bit more. And so eventually I went back up from around 208 to 305, and then that took about a year or so, maybe about a year or so, and then decided that I had to lose some of the weight. So I did get back down to where I'm hovering right now in the 270 range. I hover between 265 and 270, depending on what day of the week it is and whatever kind of foods I'm eating or not eating. But my sleep apnea is still there. It's not as terrible as it was, but it does keep me fatigued. And now I'm 13 years older, and so I'm just older. Things are affecting me more. I can't shake it off as easily as I used to be able to. I still have fatigue. I still have to take caffeine pills to feel like a normal human being. Anyway, my life is trending downhill in general just because I can't get out and go do stuff anymore because of constant fatigue. And I'm hoping that losing the weight using Wegovy or Wegovy, still working on remembering how to pronounce that word. I have started the process. Oh, before I tell you, I was very skeptical of it before when it first came out. All this wonder drug. I, I've I've lived long enough to see weight loss stuff like that come and go. Pills, the shots, the eating plans, the keto diet, carnivore diet, the Mediterranean diet. And so I've just been burned out on trying different things. And anyway, I lost my train of thought there. Oh, it was because I was going to say my these online things where I watch the video stuff really don't influence me on the weight loss stuff because, like I said, run across too many things that didn't work and turned out to be scam or whatever. Anyway, but I walked into my brother's house a few weeks ago, and I did not know that his wife was taking the version of Wegovy or Ozempic, whatever the generic is. I don't know exactly the name of the one she's using, but I walked in the kitchen and I saw her. And I looked like a completely different person. I don't know how much weight she had to lose, but she is looking good. And at the same time, I was here in my where I'm living now in the Houston area, and I ran across a guy who was working on a boat. He was telling me and my friend how he had lost roughly 80, 100 pounds using the weight loss shots. And he's like, this is giving me a whole new life. So that was enough to pique my interest and see about getting the shots. So I did have my blood tested. My contacted my insurance provider, got a virtual online visit, so I didn't have to go anywhere. I just did it on my computer, talked to her, gave her my stats. She prescribed me, or she set up a blood test, and I went and took the blood test. They drew 2 vials of blood, and I'm going to show you the results here just to give you me and you reference for the future. So this is one of the first ones. Hemoglobin A1C 5.7 is high. Go back here to lipid fasting. Cholesterol is high. LDL high. Triglycerides normal. VLDL, whatever that is. Basic metabolism, glucose. Everything's looking good. So I'm just really putting this up here for my reference from the if I ever want to go back and look at this again. And let's see, back to test results. What that is, I looked it up. I've already forgotten what it is. Anyway, the only thing that my assistant said that she was concerned about was my calcium level was a little bit high, which it showed up on one of the previous tests. Anyway, she wasn't worried about it. She just was concerned about it, and she wanted me to follow up with a physician's visit and to address these labs and things in person, so that they could probably run the test again, draw more blood. So that's my next step. I got to set up an appointment with I got to pick a primary physician. I'm gonna try to pick one that is a virtual physician again, but if not, I have a physician clinic from University of Texas Medical Branch in League City here where I live. It's literally just 3 blocks away, so I could walk to it if I wanted to. Anyway, I have to have a primary physician, I'm assuming, and not just a virtual physician, as in a video call like this. Not an AI bot, but a real person I talk to. So, see, I was prescribed Wegovy. I'm trying to stop saying the word So I was prescribed Wegovy. The insurance company does not cover it under my plan for prescriptions. It's my prescription plan that doesn't cover it. But in some cases, if your doctor will submit a letter of medical necessity outlining why it's a medical necessity to be prescribed this medication, oftentimes your insurance company will cover at least part of the Wegovy monthly bill. They told me that my physician's assistant told me that if I pay for it out of my pocket, it's about $500 a month, which if I had the money, I would do it. I mean, probably save if the Wegovy works the way it's supposed to. I could probably save half of that just in not eating. So there's a trade-off. You back on eating because the medication makes your system slow down and doesn't process food as fast. So of course you spend less on food. You won't be going out as much. Won't be buying as much as you were at the grocery store. I can still remember after weight loss surgery for the first month, I literally ate nothing but frozen popsicles because my stomach was just in knots and it didn't like anything. And when I started eating, it was like a tablespoon every 6 hours. I mean, a tablespoon of refried beans. That was the soft thing that I could eat that would not turn my stomach into just knots. Like it was still like, I could feel it. It just felt like it was doing this. I still had those raw stitches in my stomach, or the raw edges of the stomach surgery, but they cut it out. Anyway, I like that. I mean, how happy I was when I was eating upwards of a cup of food 3 times a day when I was at like the 6 month mark, and yeah, it was nice. I have always had a great relationship with food. Anyway, that's the next step. Got to send my physician's assistant a message through their operator system. I can't call her directly. they have this thing where their system asks for a the number. Well, she doesn't have an extension number, so I always have to go through a live operator to get to the position, not get to her, but get a message to her. So if you hate these stupid automated systems as much as I hate them, where you call up and they say your call is important to us, please continue to hold. If you're calling about this, press one. If you're calling about that, press two. If you're calling about this, press three. Well, in most systems, if you just start pressing zero again and again and again, or just any number again and again and again, eventually the system will register an error and they will connect you to a live person. So you can bypass a lot of these things, especially like some of them that have like a different options that you have to listen to. Then you got to figure out if your query concern is going to fall under which one of those categories. There you have it. This is first video. Hopefully, I will be able to make a video every single day, whether or not there's any progress, and get better at this. So if anybody ever sees this besides me, thank you for hanging in this far. And hopefully I can at least help one person who has ever thought about using the weight loss surgery or the weight loss shots. And I'll talk to you later.